May has been very rainy over here. Some spring fairy tale cards from the spring stationery have been shipped. And I have received this sort of card. It's from an illustrator. I'm a little collecting, or I try to find books he illustrated. His name is Maurice Leloir, you can see him here. I have here a book of Manon Lescaut. He has illustrated mainly novels, so not fairy tales or anything like that. And he's from the 19th century, but he was passionate about the 18th century. So he illustrated a lot of English 18th century novels, and this one I've shown you already, but I love it because everything is elegant, and there's a lot of illustration first, and even the way he used the lights, the shadow, the colors, the precision of everything, the precision of the costumes, and the accuracy of everything is just great. I really love it. I love how he make all these characters really alive, so they are really typical, well, 19th century, a 19th century vision of the 18th century, which I find very interesting, and I really try to find more of his books when I find them. But he has also illustrated a lot of old jobs of Paris. So here it's La Marchande à la Toilette, so a lady who was selling dresses. I'm not sure if it's completely how it would have been with the dresses hung everywhere, maybe. But he had for Le Bon Marché, which is a famous shop in Paris that still exists today, and they were doing a lot of advertisement cards like this. Magasin de nouveautés, le plus important du monde entier. A shop of new things, the most important in the entire world. So it's quite nice. I like this lady who is holding this corset. And my old French-English dictionary had an emergency which needed my attention. I had to take care of his spine, which was completely breaking and falling apart. So here is my dictionary. Well, there is a bit a small difference. I will try to have more wax to have it a little. I added some wax on it, but it's just not as bright that here. But I made a mistake here when I did it this summer. So this one, I had a video on my channel, you can watch it if you want to, on how I fix the problems of my books in a non-orthodox way. So it's not as professional book restorer would do at all. I use my paper and my glue, but I need some solutions for some books because otherwise they will continue to fall apart. And the dictionary, all my dictionaries, I use them all the time for everything. So they are manipulated, and when they are manipulated, they get a little damaged. And here I added some mulberry, but I forgot that I was supposed to do a line, and I did let the fibers like that, and it did this, because on the other side it's cleaner. So I will have to remember that when I go back on a campaign of restoring my books this summer. I plan to redo it just to make it clean here. But you can see it's much better because I couldn't, everything was breaking and the entire spine was breaking. So now he's safer and I can continue to use it. These days, on top of working on the new workshop, I also make progress on the Charles Perrault's video you will see soon, and it's a lot of joy to work on it in the studio with Clochette next to me. Here are some of my drawings, not all of them, but some I made for the last episode of the Versailles Chronicles, and I don't need them right now, so they're going to be put away. I could have spent way longer on each of them, but they are for a video, so I go a little faster, and I even made some stain on a few of them, but I keep them, I keep everything because I might reuse things in the future, we never know. So yes, they're just fun to do. All this production is so much fun to do. So even looking at them makes me happy because it reminds me fun hours of creation. So they are this way. I'm not going to lose them. I bought many flowers at the farmers market in my town this week to add more colors to the balcony and the windows. I had few things already, but not a lot. I mainly have growing plants, which I hope will cover the entire balcony with their leaves. They are not there yet, but in the meantime, yes, I needed some colors. I enjoy a lot now my lunch. It's just much more comfortable to eat under the shadow of the umbrella. So I'm working right now on a new workshop. I had started a workshop this winter and it was not ready on time, and it was a bit a seasonal workshop, so this one will be kept for the end of the year. So the one I'm doing right now, you will be updated if you are on my workshop newsletter and everything when it is ready. I'm also finishing my Charles Perrault's video, which I had the idea of doing since January, so it took me quite some time. I did many other things, of course, during this time, but I wanted to be pretty interesting. In English, I don't think you have so many information, at least definitely not as many as I have access to in French, so I wanted to be interesting for those who really like fairy tales. It's not everybody, it's fine, but those who really want something a little deep, well, I hope you will like it. I'm having a lot of fun preparing it, but it takes me a little longer. I also wanted to tell you that the different exhibitions I collaborated with these past years with Le Centre des Monuments Nationaux are all traveling in a new place this spring, and there is one which is right now at Le Château de Châteaudun, and Châteaudun is not very far from Paris. It's really like 1 hour away, I think, something like that, maybe a tiny bit more. You will have the link under this video in case you come to Paris or to France this summer, or you plan to travel in France this summer. And there is also Fantaisies pour un Palais, which is going to be at Le Château de Bouges. This is where the garden exhibition was in display last summer, and this time they will have Fantaisies pour un Palais. I just wanted to share with you something I've read in one of the letters of Denis Diderot. I'm reading his letters to his mistress, and I'm starting the second volume. I finished the first volume and I love that. It's just wonderful. It's a philosopher, Denis Diderot, so of course every letter, even if he talks about his daily life and the way he eats too much, or there's just really this tiny little details of his daily life, he also gives a lot of very interesting gems and things which make you think about our life. And he had these 4 lines. I'm going to translate them on the go. It's very short. If when we are creating a painting, we are imagining the spectators, the viewers, everything is lost. The painter is going out of his canvas just like an actor who is suddenly speaking to the audience or the first row in front of the stage. And I thought it was really interesting because really it means that when you are doing a painting, whatever you are doing artistically, you should never, ever, ever think about the audience, the opinion of people, what they are going to think, if you should put this color or that color. And I thought the world we are living right now, and with all this constant sharing of opinion of everybody, you just can't do that anymore. You are just always pushed to consider the viewers, consider what people like, consider their taste. And I thought it was really an interesting quote which resonates strangely in our modern world. And I don't even talk about virtual intelligence and all that, because it's even worse. But all the platforms, YouTube and all of them, they constantly push you in a certain direction. They constantly tell you should do what people like, you should always follow what people like. And here, Denis Diderot, he said the very exact opposite. I'm reading, of course, a lot of his things right now, and he had a long-term view of everything. He was working on his encyclopedia, and he didn't care about what people think. He was doing it anyway because it was the right thing to do. I don't know, it's just food for thought, but Denis Diderot, he would tell you, don't think about what people might say about your work, your art, your painting, your video, your film, your music. He would say, don't worry. It's not the important thing is not there, and I think it's a good reminder, especially in this world where everybody is constantly wondering what people think of them, of their photos, of what they have posted online, all that. So just something I wanted to share. As I was listening to a radio program about Victor Hugo and his house at Hauteville House in the Guernsey Island, I was suddenly inspired to improve a bit my decor above the desk and on my desk. Not buying anything, but just changing and trying new things. Especially at this season, I find it very energizing to do that. So I only took things I had in another room and changed things up a bit. And this is a little portrait of a fairy tale writer from the 17th century, Mademoiselle de la Force. And the cage comes from my past Halloween workshop we did last year. I have 2 cages, so I just thought after all I could have one in the living room and one in the studio so that it would turn. I'm going to try to see what I would add inside. And this is the book about Hauteville House. I like to go through it once in a while, and listening to this program made me want to reopen it. I always find inspiration, and I love how Victor Hugo went the further you can possibly go with a home decor inspired by his unbelievable fantasy and imagination. And you can find the book, I think, online, but I don't think it's translated. Here on my little notepad I wrote down a quote by Napoleon I like, and I always like to have it in front of me. It just means that the real sort of genius is the industry here, but is not to have all the resources possible in the entire world. The art, the genius is to accomplish things despite of difficulties, and to find this way nothing impossible to do. So here I just wanted to show you it. This is the book I bought in Paris in March. I have started to read it. It's in 4 volumes actually, but it's very funny with this publisher. It's a mid-19th century book. It's a 17th century writer, and the publisher has done something I've not seen in a lot of books. Is he writes longer notes than the text itself. At the beginning I was really excited, and suddenly I thought, my goodness, but there are more notes. This is the note of he's explaining something about one character. It's the book of Bussy-Rabutin, his memoir, so it takes place in mainly at Versailles. He writes the story of a lot of characters at Versailles, so I'm very interested in that right now. But the publisher is so excited about everything, he's constantly competing with the author, which makes it really annoying to read, because it's really like internet. It's the reason I would never read something online. I print things if I need to, but I hate to have things which break the course of the writing, or the course of the book. You are constantly stopped. So, and it's very interesting. Both the notes is interesting, and of course the book itself. But you don't want to have everything at the same time. So I think I'm going to skip the notes as I go. And sometimes he even tells you not very interesting things. He tells you about a character. Oh, I didn't find anything about this character, I'm really sorry. He gives his opinion on everything. It's really funny. I seldom read a book which was like that, constantly quoted by the publisher. So I'm pretty pleased about these little changes, which are not amazingly spectacular, but they make a difference. I like in this change of season. Well, changing things, I need to do a big declutter of the studio, which I plan to do in June. After I finish my next workshop, but I really plan to empty all the drawers and try to find other solutions of storage too, and shelves, things like that, but more practical, which have to be pretty too, but more practical things. But here I was just happy to add a bit of change on above the desk. The other desk is the desk where I film, so I can't change too many things, and I need space really to film and put my lights and everything. But this one I can't film anyway during the summer season because the sun comes on the desk. But yes, I'm pretty pleased. And you can find the book I showed you about Hauteville House if you're inspired, if you like spectacular decor, especially made by a writer. So what I like in Victor Hugo's house is that he was an unbelievable decorator, but he was a writer first. So there are a lot of hints of his work everywhere in his house, and I like this thing that while he was decorating his house, he was writing a novel, a book of poetry, and a play. It was not only decor, it was decor but infused with all his writing and his imagination, which makes it really spectacular. I always like to be inspired by this house, and I was listening to this program, so suddenly I wanted to do a few changes in my studio. I will have the Charles Perrault's video ready soon for those who love fairy tales, all fairy tales, and want to know more about, well, the king of fairy tales in the 17th century. So this video will be ready soon. I still have to work a bit on it, and I'm mainly focusing on the new workshop right now. So thank you very much for joining me today. You can subscribe if you are interested in what I do in my artwork and the upcoming videos. You can subscribe this way. You are sure you are not going to miss them. Thank you. I will see you very soon.